Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today our topic is carbon and its compound. Okay, what is the atomic number of the carbon? Atomic number of the carbon is 6. Write the electronic configuration. Here is the electronic configuration of the carbon. Here 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Okay, here the s orbital does not contain any subshell and the p orbital contain 3 subshells. Okay, what are they? They are px, py and pz. They contain 3 subshells like px, py, pz. The electrons are filled according to Hund's rule. Okay, here 2 electrons are present in 2s2 orbital, 2s orbital, and here the filling is like this. Then in p orbital we are having 3 subshells and 2 electrons. Okay, here the electrons are filled like this. It contains one vacant p orbital. Right. Next, moving to the topic. Here the electrons, total electrons in the carbon is 6, as well as protons also 6, and it contains neutrons also 6, and mass number is 12. How the mass number is calculated? Here number of protons plus number of neutrons will give the total mass of the atom. Okay, the mass of the atom is 12. Next, what is the valency of the carbon? Here very important one. What is the valency of the carbon? See how to calculate the valency. Okay, the definition of the valency is the total number of electrons present in the outermost orbital is called as its valency. Okay, now write down the electronic configuration. Here it contains 1s2, 2s2, 2p2 like this. Okay, it contains how many orbitals? Only 2 orbitals. Okay, in the central the nucleus is present. Around the nucleus the orbitals are electrons are revolving around the nucleus in the specific paths called orbits. These are called orbits, and it is a nucleus. Here it is having only 2 orbits, like here it is 1s and this one is 2 orbital. That is 2 orbital we are having 2s as well as 2p orbitals. Okay, 2s orbital contain 2 electrons and 2p orbital containing 2 electrons. Here total becomes 4. This is the valency of the carbon. Okay, very important. For example, fluorine. What is atomic number of fluorine? 9. 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 5. Okay, 5 plus 4, 9. Here what is the valency of the fluorine? Valency of the fluorine is 7. How you know? Here the total number of electrons present in the outermost orbit of an atom. Here it is the outermost orbit and it contains 7 electrons. So it is called as its valency. And here comes a trick. Here remember, the group number is always equal to its valency. The group number of element is always equal to its valency of that particular atom. Okay, is it clear? Next, it shows the how much valency? The valency of the carbon is 4. It's a very high valency. Okay, the atomic number is very small, 6 only, but it's showing the higher valency. Due to that, the carbon shows some specific properties. Okay, it shows some specific properties like tetracovalency, catenation, allotropy, polymerization. So one by one we'll discuss. Okay, first coming to the tetracovalency. What is tetracovalency? Here comes first one is a tetracovalency. C means here, so the valency of the carbon is 4. Okay, remember one thing here, the atoms, the elements reacts with one another and forming new compounds. Okay, why the compounds and elements are, why the elements and atoms are reacting with each other and forming the new compounds means to get the stability only. Okay, in order to get the stability only, the atoms and elements can involving in the chemical reaction. Okay, first coming to here, the valence of the carbon is 4. Okay, in order to get the octet configuration, what is octet configuration? Why it is important to the atoms and elements? See, octet configuration is having 8 electrons. How many electrons? Oct means 8. Having 8 electrons is called as octet configuration. Having 8 electrons in the outermost orbit of the atom is called as octet configuration. In order to get octet configuration, the atoms and elements can involving in the chemical reaction and forms new compounds. Okay, see here, carbon valency is 4. Okay, in order to get the octet configuration, it should accept how many electrons? 4 electrons. Then it will become 8 electrons. Okay, octet configuration is satisfied here. Okay, For getting octet configuration, it should accept how many electrons? 4 electrons, right? If it is accept or gain 4 electrons, then it will become as C minus 4. Okay, is it possible? No, it is not possible. Why? Because see, the atom is very, very small. The nucleus having only 2 orbit, right? The electrons between the outermost electrons are present here, and the distance between the nucleus and the outermost electron is very small, right? Okay, here it is very small. So the attraction between the nucleus and electrons is more. Okay, the here total electrons become, if we accept 4 electrons, the total electron become 10. Okay, here fuse of electrons is present in the outermost orbit. Okay, it will get the leads to repulsions. Okay, it will leads to repulsion, so it is not possible to accepting the 4 electron. For if it lose 4 electrons, then it becomes C plus 4. Okay, if the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2, right? If it is lose 4 electron, okay, it will get the stable configuration, fulfilled s orbital stable configuration. But is it possible to lose the 4 electrons? It's impossible. Why? Because in order to remove 1 electron only, it requires more energy. Okay, to remove the electron from the nucleus is very, very exothermic process, endothermic process. It requires more energy to remove the electrons from the outermost orbit. Here 4 electrons are removing, means it needs much more energy to remove the electron. So these two processes are impossible, these two processes are very, very impossible. Then how it get the octet configuration? How the carbon becomes stable? Means it can neither accept 4 electron nor gain 4 electrons. Sir, loss. Neither accept nor loss the 4 electron. Okay, but it is undergoing covalent bond. Okay, by forming the covalent bond with the other elements, it can get octet configuration. This is a very, very important. So it does not involving in the ionic bond. Okay, it does not involving in the ionic bond, it involving in the only covalent bond. What is covalent bond? What is covalent bond? See, so by explaining the example, I can define the definition. See, okay, first coming to the oxygen molecule. Here our atomic number of the oxygen is 8. The electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p4. And what is the valency of the carbon? The oxygen, sorry, it is 6. How? The outermost orbits contain only 6 electrons. And another word, the group number of the oxygen is 6. Okay, that's why the valency is become 6 only. Okay, and here the atom oxygen contains 6 electrons like this. Okay, here 2 oxygen molecules are there. One more oxygen is also contain 6 electron. Okay, is this having 8 electrons or octet? Is this follows a octet configuration? No, the octet configuration is not following this one. So it is unstable. This will react, this will share these 2 electrons with the another oxygen. Okay, here like this. Then it becomes 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, and this oxygen also shares another oxygen's 2 electrons and becomes octet. Both oxygen now contains 8 electron and it will be very stable. And here see, for single bond, one bond or single bond. For single bond, how many electrons are required? 2 electrons are requiring. Okay, for double bond, how many electrons are requiring? 4 electrons will require. For triple bond, how many electrons are required? 6 electrons are requiring. Okay, see here 2 electrons are involving in the sharing. Okay, it forms double bond with the other oxygen. Here the electrons are mutually shared by 2 oxygen atoms. See, the electrons of another oxygen is shared by this oxygen and the electrons of this oxygen is shared by this oxygen, right? Here the mutual sharing of electron is occur. So that type of bond is called as covalent bond. Simply by sharing or by mutual sharing of electron. Mutual sharing of electron is called as what? Covalent bond. Okay. Here a carbon does not involving in the ionic bond, it only follows the covalent bond like this. See here the carbon having the atomic number 6 and electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. In order to get the octet configuration, it requires 4 electrons. These 4 electrons can accepted by any monovalent atoms, okay, like hydrogen, oxygen or nitrogen. They can satisfy the valency of carbon to get the octet configuration. See for example, the molecule is like this, CH4. Here the carbon can forms 4 bonds with 4 hydrogens. See like this. 4 valency is there. So like this, carbon having 4 electrons valency like this, and each electron is involving in the sharing with hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atom contains only 1 electron, okay. Hydrogen atomic number is 1. 1 electron is present. This hydrogen atom can share the electrons with the carbon atom. So hydrogen gets 2 electron and totally the carbon gets how many electrons? 2, 4, 6, 8. Here the octet configuration is fulfilled by carbon with mutual sharing of electrons with the hydrogen. Okay, the hydrogen is also following the octet configuration. Octet rule means having 8 electrons in outermost orbit for any other atom except hydrogen. If hydrogen contains 2 electrons, that is following the octet configuration. So like this, that carbon forms only covalent bond with mutual sharing of electron. So that's why it's showing the tetra covalency. It does not involving in the ionic bond, okay. And here very important 2 more points are there. So note down this one. The covalent compound shows 2 main properties, like they show low melting and boiling points and they are poor conductors of electricity. How they are showing the low melting and boiling point? What is the here see. They show low melting and boiling point. Why? Because here they involving in the covalent bond, right? The compounds which containing the covalent bond are called as covalent compounds, right? The compound in which the covalent bond is present, then they are called as covalent compound. Here the covalent bond is very weak bond, okay. Here it involves only by sharing of electrons, okay. It formed by sharing of electron, like that it is very weak bond. So here it shows low and melting and boiling point. So if in order to break the covalent bond, it requires less energy, right? To break the covalent bond, it requires less energy. Why? Because it is having only weak bond, okay. That's why it shows low melting and boiling point. And here all one more point is that they are poor conductors of electricity. What is meant by conductor? Okay, here anything which can allow passage of electrons or anything that can allow the electricity through them, electricity or heat, then they are called as conductors of. Or else if it does not allow the current and heat, then it is called as insulators. Some exceptions are there for this electricity topic, okay. We'll see later. They are poor conductors of electricity, okay. They does not allow the current, okay. They allow current a little bit, okay. They are poor in allowing passage of electricity through them, okay. Coming to the second one, catenation. What do you mean by catenation? Catenation, the definition is binding of an element to itself through a covalent bond to form a long chains or a ring molecule is called as catenation. Here it is showing the high valency tetracovalency, so that's why it's showing the catenation property. The catenation is, the simple word is self-linking of an atom of elements to form chain or rings. Here the carbon can attached with some more carbon atoms with a covalent bond, okay. This property is called as, and it form long chains or ring like structures also. Here this one is the cyclohexane. They can form ring like structures or they can form straight chains, okay. This property is called as catenation. So binding of an element itself, okay, through a covalent bond to form a long chain carbon compounds or ring molecule is called as catenation, or simply self-linking of atom of an element to form a chains or rings is called as catenation, okay. Allotropy. What do you mean by allotropy? Here same element, same chemical properties but differ in physical properties. This property is called as allotropy. Allotropy is nothing but the same element is showing same chemical properties and different physical properties in different compound. The element can form so many compounds. The same composition. The composition of the element is same, but it's showing the same chemical property but differ in their physical properties. Okay, that property is called as, the tendency is called as allotropy. Mainly the carbon can form three types of allotropes. First one is the diamond, and second one is the graphite, third one is the fullerenes. Okay, so these three, the composition is same, that is carbon only. The composition of these three as a compound is same, that is carbon, and it's showing the same chemical properties. Chemical properties same but different in physical properties. That capacity is called as allotropy. So one by one we'll discuss. First one is the diamond. Okay, here see the electronic configuration. The composition is, the diamond is made up of only the carbon atoms. The composition is carbon, and write the electronic configuration of the carbon here: 1s2, 2s2 and 2p2. So this is the ground state electronic configuration, right? It is a neutral molecule, right? Ground state electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. But for in first excited state, what will happen? See, the s electron, 2s electron, one of the 2s electron can jump into 2p orbital. In first excited state, the electron configuration becomes 1s2, 2s1, 2p3. It becomes 3. Here one of the s orbital can jump into the p orbital and then become p orbital is 3 and the s orbital become 1. So here fill the electrons. The s orbital contain only one electron, and here the p orbitals containing 1, 2, 3 electrons, and this will involve in sp3 hybridization. Okay, what is hybridization? Hybridization is nothing but here the intermixing of outermost orbitals. Here the outermost orbitals are intermixing with each other and forming new orbital, that is called as hybrid orbital. Here it involving in sp3 hybridization. Here one s orbital and 3 p orbitals are involving, that's why it is sp3 hybrid orbital. Here there is no any unpaired electrons. Diamond does not contain any unpaired electrons. Very, very important. Okay, this is about the graphite. Diamond. Structure of diamond. Here the diamond can involving in sp3 hybridization, right? Is it clear up to this one? Next, it is involving in sp3 hybridization. Each carbon is surrounded by 3 more carbon atoms. Okay, each carbon is surrounded by 4 other carbon atoms in tetrahedral manner. The geometry of sp3 hybridized orbital is tetrahedral. Okay, simply we can write it as TD. Okay, the geometry of the sp3 hybrid orbitals is tetrahedral. This carbon in diamond is surrounded by 4 other carbon atom in tetrahedral manner. Okay, and here the structure is like this. The tetrahedral geometry will be like this. Okay, it is surrounded by 4 other carbon atoms. Like this. This carbon also is surrounded by 4 other carbon atoms. Like this. And this carbon is surrounded by 4 carbon atoms like this. Okay, 1, 2, here 3 and 4. Again this carbon, 4. Again this carbon. Okay, like this, and here one carbon is there, so this is also connected to 4 more carbon atoms like this, and this total structure is like the 3-dimensional manner. Okay, here tightly it is packed with the covalent bonds with carbon atoms. That's why the carbon is the hardest substance in the earth. the hardest substance in the earth is the only the diamond. Why? Because the diamond contains compactly filled with covalent bond with the carbon atom. They are arranged in the three-dimensional manner. Okay. The carbon-carbon distance between the carbon-carbon in diamond is 1.54 angstrom. The distance between the carbon-carbon is 1.54 angstroms in diamond, and here the bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Okay, the bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes, and here the diamond in the diamond the carbon atoms are held by compactly the covalent bonds. Okay, these carbon atoms are held together by only covalent bond, and they are arranged in the three-dimensional manner, and it is called as like polymer. Okay, these carbon atoms are arranged like a polymer, and it is a poor conductor, that is bad conductor of electricity. Okay, why? Because so in order to conduct electricity, so they should contain an unpaired electron or ions. Okay, ions or unpaired electrons if present, then they will conduct the electricity. Here there is no ions and unpaired electrons, so it is a bad conductor of electricity. So this is about the diamond. Second one is the allotropy of carbon is the second one is the graphite. Here the electron configuration is same as it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2, because it is also carbon only, allotrope of carbon. Okay, composition is similar with the diamond carbon only. Okay, here next in first excited state the electronic configuration becomes 1s2, 2s1, 2p3 like diamond also. Okay, here 1s orbital contain only one electron and p orbital contain 3 unpaired electrons like this. Okay, but here the difference between the diamond and graphite is here only. Okay, here this involves in sp2 hybridization only. Okay, it does not involving in sp3 hybridization, but diamond undergoes sp3 hybridization. It does not contain any unpaired, but here it is undergoing sp2 hybridization. It is having one unpaired electron, very very important here. Okay, the difference between the diamond and graphite is here only. Okay, it is involving in sp2 hybridization. So here the structure of the graphite becomes, here the carbon in graphite is surrounded by 3 more carbon atoms like this, and it will form a pentagon shape like this, hexagon, sorry. Here the each carbon atom is surrounded by 3 more carbon atom, and it can form like pentagons like this. Okay, and it show a layered structure. Okay, here the one pentagon is present here and one layer, then 1 2 3 4 5 6. 6 means hexagons. Next, here one more hexagon will present. It forms a layered like structures. Okay, this is the one more layer, and here also, here the bond are like this, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Here the hexagons are present like this, and here the each carbon atom is having its with the van der Waals attraction. These carbon atoms are held together by van der Waals forces of attraction. Very very important. Van der Waals forces of attraction. Each carbon atom is having its van der Waals forces of attraction, but in diamond they are held together by strong covalent bond. Here each carbon atom is held by van der Waals forces of attraction. These attractions are very weak attraction, and the structure is like this, and it forms a layered structure. Okay, and here the one unpaired electron is present on the p orbital, right? Here see, one unpaired electron is present in p orbital. These unpaired electron can delocalize. Okay, this unpaired electron can delocalize in the total structure. Okay, here it is moving to one place to another place, so it is passing the electricity. That's why it is a good conductor. Okay, it is a good conductor of electricity due to the presence of one unpaired electron. This unpaired electron can jump to one layer to another layer. Okay, it can pass to one place to another place. So that's why it is showing the conductor electricity, and it has become a good conductor for electricity. So, and here the carbon-carbon distance is 1.42 angstrom. The distance between carbon and carbon here 1.42 and the bond angle is 120 degrees. Bond angle is 120 degrees. So this is about the graphite. Now let's move to the difference between the diamond and graphite. The difference between the diamond and graphite we'll see here. Each diamond and graphite is both composed of only carbon. These are two allotropes of the carbon. Here the diamond undergoes sp3 hybridization. Shortcutly I am writing HYD. Okay. And here the graphite undergoes sp2 hybridization. And here each carbon in diamond is surrounded by 4 other carbon atom and they are arranged like a 3D manner. Okay, 3-dimensional manner. Here each carbon atom in graphite is surrounded by 3 more carbon atom and it shows a layered structure. Okay. And these carbon atom, 4 carbon atoms are arranged in a tetrahedral manner. Okay, here these carbon atoms are arranged in a hexagonal manner. They are arranged in hexagonal manner. And here coming to diamond, the carbon-carbon bond length is 1.54 angstroms. Here the carbon-carbon bond length is 1.42 angstroms. Okay, and here carbon-carbon bond angle. Here the bond angle is 109.28 seconds. Okay, minutes. Here the carbon-carbon bond angle is 120 degrees. Okay, next one. Here the carbons are held by covalent bonds. Which bonds? Covalent bonds. Here the carbon atoms are held together by weak van der Waals forces of attraction. Van der Waals forces of attraction. Next one. Here it is a very hardest substance. The diamond is very hardest substance and it is very soft substance. Okay, next one. Here it is a bad conductor of electricity. It is acting as a bad conductor, but the diamond graphite is acting as a good conductor. Okay, next one. It does not contain any unpaired electron. Not having unpaired electrons. Here one unpaired electron is present. These are the difference between the diamond and graphite. Okay, clear? Next, moving to the last one here. Third allotrope of carbon is fullerenes. Okay, if the carbon compounds are 60, then the compounds are called as fullerenes. See, 60 compounds are called as fullerenes, and the another name is it is also called as Buckyball or Buckminster fullerenes. Okay, here these 60 carbon atoms are arranged by single or double bonds. Okay, they are connected each other by single, and some places they are connected with a double bond and forms a cylindrical like closed ball-like structure. Okay, it can form like a ball-like structures. That's why it is called as a buckyball or Buckminster fullerenes, and it contains pentagons and hexagons. Okay, pentagons means 5-membered ring. Hexagons means 6-membered ring. Here pentagon means the 5 carbon atoms are arranged like this. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hexagons means 6 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is pentagon. This is hexagon. So with this we can finish the catenation, tetracovalency and allotropes of carbons. In next video we'll be discussing about hydrocarbons and IUPAC nomenclature. Okay, thank you. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe and share my videos.